Big changes at the temporary offices of the governor of New Jersey. After 8 long years, Chris Christie is moving out of Trenton, and newly elected Phil Murphy is moving in. Now, you would think this isn't a real good time to be moving into the governor's office. I mean, the state is in the middle of a financial crisis, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. However, there is some new money coming in. The Supreme Court is expected to clear the roadblocks for legalized sports betting in New Jersey. That could bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in new tax revenue. Also, there is going to be legislation to legalize recreational marijuana in New Jersey, and Phil Murphy says he'll sign it. That could bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in new tax revenue. You add all of that to the $1.3 billion in new taxes that Phil Murphy ran on and won on, and you would think the state would be flush with cash. And you would be wrong. Here's why. Let's say the state brings in $3 billion in new taxes because of sports betting, marijuana, and Murphy. That's about how much it costs a year to keep the pension fund from going bankrupt. And it does nothing to replenish a state employee pension fund that has been depleted because of mismanagement by several administrations. As a matter of fact, every governor for the past 3 decades who has been sworn into office promised to do something about the pension fund, only to do little or nothing. The hard truth is that the pension fund in its current form is unsustainable, and it needs to be overhauled. It affects everything, all of the issues we talked about today. Transportation, schools, taxes, nothing can be fixed until we first fix the pension fund. Now, in the first 100 days, it is important to watch Governor Murphy's priorities. Of course, there is always new hope with a new administration. Some strategists believe that he is going to deal with transportation first, maybe naming a new transportation czar to look over the Gateway project and the new tunnel to New York, New Jersey Transit, the state's bridges and roads, because it is a bipartisan issue that affects the entire state. It would create goodwill and a good feeling towards his administration. Speaking of a good feeling, he is also expected to sign legislation in the first 100 days that would legalize marijuana, as we mentioned earlier. That would bring in much needed cash. But then it's important to see what he does with that cash, because if he spends it on a pet project like free college tuition that we can't afford right now, and doesn't do anything about the pension fund that, as I said, affects everything, that would be disappointing. But for right now, there is great hope. And it shouldn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, if you voted for this man or you didn't. If you live in the state of New Jersey, root for his success. And success begins and ends with the pension fund. We'll be watching. I'm Larry Mendte. Talk to you again next week.